Hello creatives, welcome to Artist Star. My name is Beth and I am at the gallery today for the ZODIAC series. This is a reading for Sagittarius, whose major arcana card is Temperance. This is the artist card that represents you as the open vessel, ready to receive whatever source can draw from the well of infinite creativity. So I started off with pulling a card from the Color Goddess deck, and you got Jet. Look at this. I know it's so dark and mysterious, but it's actually about letting something go, that it's time to move forward into something new. And the only way that you can do that is to let something basically die. So an old way of doing things, an old way of being, just that. So it is about conclusions of a cycle. And with this conclusion will come a very new beginning. So you've got the skull, of course. You've got what the stone is, which really isn't a stone. It's called jet. It is a mineraloid, and it comes from a tree, and just from the pressure and the age of the tree. And it, if you wear it, will bring you strength of character, strength to endure, just strength in anything that you need strength for. So it's really a beautiful card. And so new beginnings here, and new beginnings from the Sacred Rebel deck. I pulled for you this one, which is In the World, Not of the World. Very similar in the message, in that it's that you've outgrown something, that it's time to shed some old ways of thinking or being and move into a new stage of growing. Really beautiful. It reminded me of the quote that is my favorite quote, and that is by Anis Nin. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. So you are about to blossom, Sagittarius. Oh, so sweet. How lucky for a creative, right? Okay, so this is a new spread. It is by Marielle. She has an Etsy shop. You'll find it in the link below. She's got all kinds of things for creatives, exercises and encouragements. If you have an interest, you can go and check it out. Anyway, I have taken one of her tarot spreads about strengths and weaknesses, and because it's kind of like a heavy subject, I went back to my old 1970s tarot deck and got my Rider-Waite deck out because it has been so tried and true for me for so many years. I figured, why not? So that is our question card. Then, of course, the cards of truth for a direction, and then the Lenormand cards for clarification. So, okay, so this is your strength, your greatest strength, your biggest strength. This is, how can I use this strength to overcome any limiting beliefs or obstacles? This is your biggest weakness. And this is, how does this weakness set me up for failure? Always good to know. And this is, how can I turn that weakness into a strength? This has been a great spread so far. So let's get started and see what you got, Sagittarius, because you got the strength card right out of the gate. So this is your strength. You got the strength card. How fabulous is that? And you're talking about jet stone, and that is all about maintaining your strength. So you are ready. Yes, it's strength of character. It's knowing who you are at your deepest core, being so confident and so smart and well-being about yourself that you are more than capable of handling yourself in any situation. So it's basically saying that you're ready for this. And then you got the Queen of Clubs in the Cards of Truth. She is one of the most creative and energetic, restless energy even, highly intuitive and willing to work hard. This is all about finding that intellectual knowledge that you need and sharing it, using it with collaborations, being competent and just full of ideas and ready and willing to do them. Really a beautiful card. And then you got the Tower as clarifying. I see this as stature of you, strong and tall and stable. That is you. Ooh, what a strength to have. Beautiful. So, okay, so how can you use it to overcome any limiting beliefs or obstacles? 5 of Cups. This is about small losses. This is about how it hurts when you lose something that you felt was really valuable, or seeing imperfections in things. I see them as the 5 of Cups as mini tower moments where Source just steps in and it's time for something to be let go of, and you might not necessarily see it or be ready for it. It takes you by surprise, but you realize it in the end that it's for the better. So when you're in those moments and you got to rely back on your strength, right? So how do you do that? How can that help you? By the 6 of Hearts. So the heart suit are all about emotional fulfillment and losses. So in this case, it is about rewards from an outside source. It's about being validated by your peers. And it is artistic success. So even though you're experiencing these little mini losses and disappointments and imperfections, it's for the better good of you and your creativity and your talents and your love of it, your intuitiveness. This is understanding the wabi-sabi give and take of the 5 here, the 5 of Cups, and understanding that it's okay, because this is what you're going to get if you can keep your strength through it. So it is also represents the devil energy in tarot. So of course the devil is all about having that dark angel on one shoulder and the light angel on the other, offering you up different things, and you, Sagittarius, making the right choice, not wallowing in the losses, seeing that, understanding it, accepting it, and moving on from it, because all this person really has to do is turn around and she can see that there are 2 more cups right behind them, right? So you're never completely out, right? There's always something that you can be grateful for. And clearly, getting this artistic success card helps to understand why those little losses occur. And you got the Bear. So this is also a success card in this instance. It is being aware, being bold, being in your right place. It is having wisdom and care and using your power well. You know, a big burly bear can walk into a room and still be a cuddly teddy bear, right? So, softness. What is that? A velvet hammer, something like that. So that is how you can use this strength when you are up against anything that you're feeling is limiting and or an obstacle. And yeah, stay strong in it and soft at the same time. Okay, so let's look at your greatest weakness. So what we have here is the Four of Pentacles. So this is about finances, skills, and talents, and just the creativity in general. And it is about being a miser of sorts. You can see how tightly he's hanging on to that pentacle there, right? He doesn't want to let it go. He is so sold and attached that it's difficult to, as in this, seeing those losses as something that simply means you're ready for something new, just as the directional cards up here that Source wanted to add to this entire reading is just such a perfect follow through with all of this, because with this weakness of hanging on too tightly to things, not willing to let them go, there's a yin yang around that, a wabi sabi, in that maybe you worked really, really hard for those things. And of course they're hard to let go of if you're not ready to. It's hard to look beyond that and through that and to understand that it's not about the material object, is it? And you do know that, but sometimes you need to be reminded, and maybe that is something that you're struggling with. And you get the Four of Hearts in this case. And again, this is about security and stability. It's Mercury energy and High Priestess energy. So it's highly intuitive, highly there, highly capable. It's really fulfilling connections. So, and consistency. So it's hard to say when it's time to let go, when it feels like this. But to understand that what you really are interested in is growing. So if it's time to grow, it's like when you're a kid and you outgrow your toys, right? When you got them, they were like super special. That's all you wanted to play with. And then after a while, you lose interest. So it's that kind of a thing, when sometimes you're ready for it and sometimes you're not. So then you got the Book for clarifying, and it is in reverse, which simply means that it's a secret that's going to be revealed when it's in the upright position. And it's a secret from Source that would love to share with you. So when it's in the reverse, clearly, it means that you are closed off to hearing that secret from Source. It prevents you from moving forward in your creative talents, skills, whatever it is that you are doing these days in that realm. So yeah, that is a weakness, right? Because you want to stay open to that. That's where the creativity comes from, this well and source. You got to be an open vessel to receive. So when you're closed off, stuck in your creature comforts, what your ideals are, it closes you off to opening to something new. Okay, so how does this set me up for failure? Now let's find out. Well, you get the Eight of Wands. This is a fast pace, very quick, fire energy, and very sudden. So sudden, fast, quick changes. So it sets you up for failure because you act in too much haste. You don't think it through. You've got the Queen of Hearts here. You can't think it through. You haven't diplomatically thought of all the angles. This is where tarot readings really come in handy. It gives you such a big, broader outlook on life to think from. You've got all these different ideas coming to you to ponder and sort through. So if you can take time, if you're not, in some imminent danger or someone else, and you've got time to think about it and not just react, it's better to think if you can. So this hanging on makes you act in haste, apparently. And you get, like I said, the Queen of Hearts. This is Neptune energy, water energy. It can be, illusions, and it can be thinking you're very strong and very support and love, and you may be called to support other people. Other people may be called to support you. It encapsulates, all queens do, including the Queen of Clubs up here, the 4, 5s, and 6s, which is the 4, where was it? Over here, the 4, 5s, and 6s. So that energy is definitely in this reading, where it is stability and then change through sorting through what doesn't work, keeping the nuggets and moving on to what does work, while having gleaned all of those little bits to take with you. It's that kind of energy. And then the 6s, of course, is that validation from an outside source, which is valuable, right? But not as valuable as having an inner validation. So, or both, they can be equally. So that's where we are with this card. Ordinarily in the upright position, I call it the grandma card. Very stable, very strong and supportive and loving, all of that good stuff. But when it's holding you back from something, it is an unhealthy taking and giving. So in that respect of the 8 of Wands, it is an unhealthy quickness without really thinking it through, right? So yeah, we want to stop and really consider all the sides if we can. And then you get the Star. So this too is about connecting with your joy and your happiness. It's about listening to your dreams and having hope in sight and success in view. And if you see that, you've got the 6 hearts above. I know they mean something totally different in the Lenormand deck, but it's here. So again, it is just another connection to solidify this reading with all the 6s. And now that I'm looking, this Queen has the Tower, and that has 6. And 6 spades in the cards of truth is one of the healthiest cards, if not the healthiest cards in the deck. Top of your game there. And yeah, so the same with the Star. But it sets you up for failure if you aren't using it correctly. If you're acting too much in haste, not coming from a well thought out place, it can add to the illusions and delusions in order to keep you from letting go of what you need to let go of. Wow. Okay, so how can we use this weakness? How can we turn it into a strength? All right, Sagittarius, you got the King of Pentacles. What an amazing card this is. I'm just saying it is such a lovely counterpoint for your strengths. This card is about leadership and intelligence and success. And seriously, the clue lies in taking that moment, having a cup of tea, really thinking something through, and getting to all of the ins and outs that you possibly can, given the situation and the time you've got. because that is what you are moving into. Okay? This is all about having a noble influence and being at the top of your game creatively and financially in your skills and talents. It is a beautiful card for an artist to get as how to change this simple letting go of something when it's time, giving it some thought. This can lead you to this King of Pentacles. And you get the Seven of Hearts, and you got the Birch Rod. This is about sweeping away that's not working, and so is this. So you're going to be able to eventually make those quick decisions that this is your weakness. You're going to turn it into a strength by doing it more often, right, with practice. So the Seven of Hearts is a Saturn energy. It is about the hard lessons that kings are and queens so good about learning and knowing and performing and getting through, because sevens are the Tower card, and the Tower card is Source eliminating things from your life that are no longer necessary. And this is more of an emotional sense around things. So those attachments, right? Those attachments to the comforts that you just don't want to let go of, but maybe it's time. Whatever that emotional satisfaction and right, but you can't get stuck in it for too long. And that's what this card is really all about. It is the Death card related in the tarot. So again, it's about letting go, right? So that something better, something new, a new you can blossom from that one step at a time. So, wow, this is such a beautiful reading for you, Sagittarius. I'm really excited that you get to step into a new you. Yeah, a new, really much higher vibe. You got queens as high vibes, and you're moving into the kings. You are ready. Whew. Okay, so I've got one more card for you. We're going to go to the Spirit messages and see what Spirit would like to share with you at the end of this reading. What little takeaway would they like to share? Oh, a child's love. Weren't we just talking about the toys? Time to let go. So let's see what a child's love is all about. Oh, look at those butterflies. Those are gorgeous. Okay, so it says, ooh, rainbows and music notes too. Ooh, really beautiful. The love between a parent and child, and that can be your inner child, is one of the most precious and deep connections we make during our time on earth. Children start out as part of us, and from their first cries, they establish themselves as the biggest part of our hearts. Yeah, well, okay. So, if that's what we're going to lead us to, this hard to let go, think of it as those childhood toys, right? And you don't necessarily have to toss it in the garbage, right? You can set it on the shelf. You can put it away safe. You can take care of it. It's not something that you've got to burn, right? And just allow for something else to come in. What a beautiful reading for you. Wow. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for listening, and hope this resonates in part. And yeah, it is a general reading, so hopefully you got something out of it. And as always, happy creating.